Hi guys, my name is Varsha and I welcome you all to the webinar today. I hope I'm audible. In case there is any problem you're facing with the screen or audio, please feel free to type it in the chat box. Also, if I may tell you, the question answer round will be conducted toward the end of the session. But in case you have any questions, you can type it in the question box and we'll take it at the end. So I have with me Nidhip Mehta. Nidhip heads the School of Design at Pearl Academy. He's a graduate from New Jersey Institute of Technology and has been practicing architect since 1997. With an extensive industry experience ranging from urban residential projects to commercial and institutional spaces. Like a lot of architects, he is into many things related to art and design. Art history, typography, graphic design, film, literature, and music. He strongly believes in the value of interdisciplinary design and tries to bring all of these things into his professional work and his teaching style. So let's hear what he has to talk about in today's webinar on 21st century Indian designer. Over to you, Nidhip.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you spending the time to spend the next hour or so with me. I want to talk, as you can see from the screen that you're looking at. I want to talk before we talk a little bit about what we do here at Pearl Academy in the School of Design. I want to tell you what kind of drives us in terms of what our vision is for what we want to do with our students, with our faculty, and what we think that the 21st century Indian designer should be, because that's who we're trying to make you all become. The students who come to our college in the School of Design, we have to make you ready for the world of the design today in India and for the 21st century, not for the last century. So let me just go through what I feel are some of the important points about what it means to be a 21st century Indian designer. So what is the need for design in India right now? I mean, basically that's a difficult question to answer because it's almost that it's self-evident. For 5,000 years, India has had a very, very rich design heritage. We have been very strong in art, architecture, music, culture, textiles, fashion. For thousands of years, we were at the top of the game in the world in terms of design and all of these different things. And somehow, for whatever reasons, for the last 100 years or so, we've fallen off. The other countries have taken the lead. And I think very strongly that the time is very, very ripe now for India to get back into the game, and it already is happening, that we can push design from the Indian standpoint to the rest of the world, not just for Indians, but also for everyone. I think that we can obviously build upon the 5,000 years of the heritage that we have, but we can also create something new, modern, and something that reflects the values and the culture of what we are today. Part of that is if any of you know, you may have noticed that the government has started this campaign called Make in India. And they're very particular that we want things to be made in India these days. Things have always been made in India, but I think the focus on this campaign and this initiative is that we not just make things in India, but we design them in India. And I think that opens up a huge opportunity for us as in the design community to be doing and being a part of this fantastic campaign. What do we mean when we say we're designing for India today? Well, does it mean that we forget everything about what we've done in the past 5,000 years? No, of course not. Does it mean that we copy what the Western countries and what other places are doing in the world? Definitely not. We don't want to be doing that. We want to create our own Indian design identity. So what does that mean? That includes things like art, it includes craft, it includes our cultural heritage, but it has to be done in a way that is global in nature, because if we just keep looking inward, then we're just copying what we've done before. If we don't look outward, then we won't be able to make India into a great design country. So if you look at what is happening today, if you look at some examples, I can see some examples on the screen right now. I'm showing you some ways in which the Indian designers today are doing things that are very modern, but at the same time very Indian, using organic materials, natural materials, doing interior design that is based upon wonderful Indian concepts of using Indian climate and nature, all these things that have been part of of what we've been doing in India for the last, as I said, many thousands of years. Products that we're doing, furniture that we're doing, things that have a distinctly Indian feel, but at the same time are not simply just copying what we are doing from before. I mean, look at it. What you see in front of you is the new iPhone 6. Is it possible that the next revolutionary phone could be made in India? Is it possible that we could be the ones who are coming up with the next big thing? In fact, I wouldn't even say why should it be made in India? The iPhone is made in China, but it's designed in America. Why can't it be actually designed in India? Not just made in India, but designed in India. Things like this is what we should be looking forward to. What you as young designers should be trying to imagine is possible for you all to be doing. Not necessarily following what everybody else is doing, but to lead the way. What we also are very focused on doing in the School of Design is make sure that we are designing for everyone. We don't want to just be designers for luxury clients or for only the rich people or for only certain types of clientele. We want to make sure that in this movement that we are starting about creating a design identity for India, that everybody is included. So that means looking at social issues, looking at social consciousness, allowing people who are disabled, the people who are homeless, people who are of the lower working classes, people who don't have the things, who aren't able to naturally enjoy the benefits and the fruits of good design. We want to include them in this whole movement as well and bring everybody with us. So these are some of the words that we tend to use. Inclusive design, that means including everybody. Design for the masses. We want to include everybody as we move forward. So some of you may be wondering that why do we choose a design career? Like why should I become a designer? Obviously, it's not an easy decision for an Indian youngster to make. Many students are facing with options of doing things that India has traditionally been very good at in the last few years. So science and technology and you can say commerce. All of these different things are things that Indians have been doing and they're choosing as careers. What we're saying is that choose a design career also. Design career is on its way up, it's on the rise. And as you can see, the Make in India campaign is part of it. Even the government is putting an emphasis on this, and certainly everybody else will be following very quickly. And design is definitely on the rise. Some of the things that point towards this are the fact that if you look at rapid market growth in design sectors, this is happening. Why? Because real estate is getting very popular. If you just look around you, those of you who are living in metro areas, you probably have seen so much construction that's been happening all around you. So many buildings going up, apartments, houses, movie theaters, malls, offices, all these different things are coming up, and people have to be designing the space. They have to design those buildings and they have to design the spaces in those buildings. They also have to be designing the products that go inside those buildings. So lifestyle products, industrial products, things that involve technology, gadgets, electronics, all those things have to be designed. So either we can take the ones that are designed from outside of the country and import them, or you can use the things that are homemade and homegrown, that are made for us and by us. The Indian consumer market itself is growing. Many of you know, if you see how many retail outlets are growing all over the country, so many people are buying things right now. So all of these things have to be designed by someone, and it's better that Indians design it, and Indians are designing them. The other good thing about it is what helps us in our School of Design, which gives us a lot of flexibility in designing courses that we want to offer, is that there are niche markets in the design industry. So interiors, styling, furniture, exhibitions, sets, heritage design, retail display, technology embedded products, smart products. I mean, all of you probably have heard many of these words before, but these are things that we want to be part of the future of Indian design. Yes, architecture is certainly a part of it. All the other aspects of things that are design, fashion has always been a very big thing for Indian designers. But these are certain niche markets that we would like to offer for students, because we found that the students themselves are looking into getting very specific in certain types of designs. So all of these things reflect the kind of variety of courses that we offer in the School of Design. And of course, there's more need for technical skills and knowledge. It's not enough just to know the idea of designing something. You have to kind of have the full background of information. Certainly there are designers who have gone up, who have just kind of trained themselves and educated themselves. But in the global market these days, we need people who have, capability in designing, who have been taught the technical skills, who have been taught the right knowledge, who have been given the right exposure, not just the exposure to faculty and education here in India, but that also abroad, which we provide in the School of Design as well. But the biggest thing is that why choose a designer career, I believe, is that honestly, as a designer, I feel that you can actually very physically change the world and make a difference in the lives of people every day, whether it's in the products that they use or in the spaces that they occupy. I think these are the ways that you can very directly feel that people are being changed by the things that you do. You know, the phones that we use, the technology that we use, the laptops, the spaces, the furniture, all these things are being designed and they are changing the way that we do things. They're changing our behavior, they're changing the way that we live, and for many people, they're making lives much, much, much better, you know, giving them more opportunities. So I think that to know that as a designer that you can become part of that is a really a wonderful, wonderful thing, a wonderful ambition that we can be part of. Many of you are probably wondering, is that, you know, okay, design education, it seems very kind of, you may have heard things about what design education is like. How is it different from other types of education? Well, the first thing right off the bat is that we offer more hands-on learning. Design education is about hands-on learning. You are actually making things. You're actually doing things in the classroom. In fact, we don't even call it a classroom. We call it a studio. We don't have a traditional classroom with desks and, you know, like big lecture hall with everybody sitting, 200 people sitting in a lecture hall. We don't have that. We have smaller classes. We have studios where you're actually working in the studio, not just for the classroom, but even outside of the classroom. We offer ways that you can go off-site as well. You go onto the site and actually build things. You can see here in some of the images that I'm showing, these are our students who are actually making things both in the studio and on the site. And it's a very exciting way of learning. It also means that it's project-based work. So you are being assessed, and the work that you're doing in the studio is projects. It's not necessarily, we do have sometimes reports, and we have sometimes a quiz or so here and there, but otherwise the work that you're doing is you're actually making something, whether it's a model or whether it's drawings or whether it's done by hand or it's done by computer, whether it's mass-produced or or things that are being made, custom-made. It's definitely very project-based work, and we don't have any exams. We don't have textbooks. We have books. We have books that we think that you should read, but they're not textbooks of the kind that you probably used to in a high school education. So because we don't have textbooks, there's no mugging up for exams. Everything is being done progressively. Every week we are doing some interesting new things. You don't it's not like you do, a whole lot of nothing for the entire semester or the entire year, and then you just study at the end, in a panic. You're working all the time, constantly. So there's no mugging up, really. The other thing that's different is that design education is a professional course. The courses that we offer are professional courses, which means, what does that mean when you're a professional? It means that as a graduate, you're a qualified design professional, that you provide a service to a client or a user that is something that you can provide and nobody else can provide. As an interior designer, as a product designer, these are things that you have been qualified to do. And that is something of a sort of a more elevated way of working. Only people go to you for that kind of advice. It's kind of like a doctor, I don't want to necessarily say that we are like doctors, but what we do is something that other people are not necessarily trained to do. What are the qualities of a 21st century Indian designer? I've been talking about what design education is about. I've been talking about what we need in this country, in India, to design. What do we say are actually the qualities of an Indian designer in the 21st century, which we equate to the Pearl graduate? We say that the student who graduates from the School of Design from Pearl Academy is a 21st century Indian designer. So what are the things that they can do? Well, they can balance between the old and the new, the historical and the modern. Neither are they copying the past, but neither are they ignoring the past as well. It's a nice blend between mixing our cultural heritage with where we want to go in the future. As I said, we are designing for the masses. We serve all the populations. A 21st century Indian designer is not somebody who just designs for one group of people. He designs for all different types of people from all walks of life. A 21st century Indian designer is also one who has a strong cultural context and is very keenly aware of the surroundings in which they're working. That's something that's very important in the teaching that we do at Pearl Academy in the School of Design. We make sure that you are studying things that that are around you, that are part of our culture, that are part of our daily life. We don't want to necessarily design you to design a space that could be built anywhere. It has to be very strongly linked to the place and where it exists. And I think that's a very important thing. We want a 21st century Indian designer to be socially conscious, environmentally, ethically, and culturally responsible. All of these things are very, very important. As moving forward in this country, all of these things are extremely, extremely important. If a 21st century Indian designer leaves out any of these things, then they're not doing justice to what needs to be done for our society. All of these things have to be considered. And I think that has to be part of what we have to, what we want our graduates to be. Our 21st century Indian designer, they're a good blend of being someone who's tech savvy, who's able to work with social media, who's able to work with technology and mobile apps and computers and all the different types of technologies that we have right now, but also should be equally capable of working with their hands, doing something by hand, drawing or sketching or making a model or doing something, getting into an active thing. Some of the pictures you saw before, right, where we saw students who are making things. So it's got to be both. It has to be both of those things. A designer in the 21st century, as I said, they're looking at the old and new, so they have to look at also the old and new tools that we're using, not just the context. And I think one of the most important things of a 21st century Indian designer is that they are an innovator and a leader, and they're not a follower. We are we strongly feel at Pearl Academy that we don't want to create graduates who are just going to fit into and just sit into some existing design industry. We want them to lead the design industry, not follow. So we are training them in our students in ways that are forcing them to be bold, that are forcing them to take risks, that are forcing them to do things that nobody has done before. And it's very difficult. It's not an easy thing to do that, definitely. But if you want to be an innovator, you want to be a leader in the design world, or even in just generally in the working community, then you have to be an innovator. You have to be a leader. So what are we looking for when we're saying that we want all these things in the graduate? What does that mean when we're trying to find the ideal Pearl candidate? Who are we looking for? Who are the types of students that we are looking for? Well, there's some qualities that we try to find. We want to find someone who has a positive frame of mind. That has to be there. We want someone who is energetic and mischievous and certainly positive, is always thinking about doing good things. We want someone, and when I say mischievous, by the way, I don't mean naughty. I mean someone who is willing to take a few risks, someone who's willing to kind of look at beyond the rules and break the rules when the time is right. So that's the kind of person we want to have in our School of Design. We want someone who is adventurous. We want someone who is ready to explore and not just do the things that have already been done. We want them to take risks and go and move forward in the world. We also want someone who we say is quietly observant and curious. Someone who can just at some time just sit back and just watch and see what's going on in the world. Watch people, see how they behave, see how they act, so that we can understand very well what human behavior actually is. We also want someone who has hobbies, who has interests, who does things. We don't want someone who just sits at home and just does nothing all the time. We want students who are always doing things, who are always engaged in different things. And yes, even ones who have secrets. We want people, people who are dreaming about things and who have goals and dreams about doing different things. So those are the kind of people. And yes, we want someone who reads, who writes, who surfs, who draws, who doodles, who snaps and takes photographs, who composes, all of these things. But the important thing is that they're doing it not because they have to, but they're doing it for the fun of it. They're doing it because they want to do it. This is the kind of person that we would like to have as a student at Pearl Academy, because frankly, all of these things need to be there to become what we are saying is the 21st century Indian designer. I hope that all of that made sense to you. If you have some questions, you can obviously ask them. I'm going to get a little bit into the second part of what my presentation is, which is talking a little bit about the actual courses that we offer at School of Design. Now, a lot of this stuff is there on our website. Obviously, you can check it out. But I want to explain a little bit to you, because sometimes there is a lot of confusion, because maybe to you, you hear our courses, they sound very similar to each other. Maybe you don't know what the difference is. So I wanted to maybe talk a little bit about what those are. So if you can see on the screen right now, we offer 5 courses currently in the School of Design. One is interior architecture and design. That's a 4-year degree course. Interior design and styling. That's a PG course that we offer, a 2-year professional diploma. We've just launched a course called Interior Decoration. It's a 1-year diploma. That's an afternoon course. We offer that every day. That's for people who who are not into necessarily a long-term type of course. It's just something very short. It's really about interior decoration. We offer another degree course we offer is in product design. That's also a 4-year degree course. By the way, you can see all the places in which all these courses are offered at our different campuses. It's there on the screen. Finally, we have what we're doing is we're launching a new course next year in 2016. It's called Lifestyle Accessory Design. It's also a degree course. It's a 4-year BA honors course. We're offering it in 3 campuses in Delhi, Jaipur, and in Mumbai. And it's a new course, and I'll talk a little bit about it in a few minutes when I get to that. Let me talk about these courses one by one. Interior architecture and design, what is that? Many of you have probably heard architecture before, and you've heard interior design before. But you maybe never heard of interior architecture before. Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's something in between architecture and interior design. It's slightly more technical than an interior design course. It's also not as technical as an architecture course. It's certainly not as long. An architecture course is a 5-year B-Arch course. It's a very technical, it's a more of a professional course. We offer just the interior aspects of that course. We have architects who are teaching it, and we focus mostly on the interior aspects of it, but it is taught with the same rigor and the same dedication of an architecture course. This is offered at all of our campuses, by the way. So what is it? What is there in that course? What is the content of that course? So we say that it's space design. It's really not decoration. It's not decor. That's there in our other courses. It's about space design spaces. How do the spaces work? How do they function? What are the layouts of those spaces? How do you plan the spaces for occupants and for users? Not just the areas of the space, but the volumes of the space. How tall is it? How big is it? How does it feel? We do deal with things called anthropometrics and ergonomics. Maybe you have heard of these terms. Maybe you've not heard of these terms. But anthropometrics is about human beings. How do they move? How do they gesture? What is the space that's required for a person to sit down, to get up, to eat, to walk, to cook, to pray? These are the things that we figure out. The way that we teach the course is very much inside out. First you figure out how much space, what type of spaces that are required to do these activities, and then we figure out, what are the spaces around that. Because it is somewhat of a technical course, materials, construction, structure, services. When I say services, I mean HVAC, so air conditioning, cooling, electrical, lighting, plumbing. All those things are there as part of the course. You learn about different materials, not just the surface materials, not just the materials that you see on the walls, but also the materials of the things that make up the structure of the things that you're seeing. Some people may wonder and get a little bit afraid because is it too technical? Is it too much about science? Is it too much mathematics? And I want to assure you that it's not that type of a technical course. It's technical only in the sense that you're learning how to make things. So that's pretty much it about interior architecture and design. Interior design and styling, that's a 2-year diploma course that's offered for students basically from any background. You can come from any undergraduate degree and take this course. What it is, it's similar in some ways to the interior architecture course. It's half of the time duration, obviously, so we're not going to cover as many things. It's not going to be as technical, but it is going to cover space design, again, how spaces work and how they function. Again, space planning, volumes and areas. We still deal with anthropometrics and ergonomics, but it's a little bit more about the decoration and the look and the feel of spaces. Not particularly about the technical aspects of it, but it is about the aesthetics of it, how they look and they feel. You'll see more of decoration in this course than you would see in the interior architecture course. There's also styling. Styling is another aspect of the course that we have here. For those of you who don't understand what the difference between interior design and styling is, interior design is more permanent. Interior styling is more temporary. So if you are creating a space that's used for a photo shoot, or for a film set, or for a television set, or for an advertisement, or for a retail display, or for exhibition. So those are the type of things that we're talking about when we say styling. It's pretty much temporary, maybe for either a few hours or a few weeks, but it's something that's going to be there for a short period of time. And it's mostly, styling is really going to be about a look and a feel, not so much about the function of the space. Yes, there is some aspect of materials and construction that that are there in interior design and styling. It is a little bit technical because the kind of jobs that our graduates are getting require them to know about these things, but not so much that there would be for an interior architecture course. This is the course that we just launched, Interior Decoration, 1-year diploma. This is very much about the surfaces and the finish aspects of a course. We are really not looking at space design. We're not planning spaces. It's really about the decor and of the spaces, really how the spaces look and the feel, not so much how they function. Is it a little bit about how they function? Yes, of course. But it's really about how they look and the feel, the aesthetics of it. And there is some aspect of styling there in the interior decoration course. Those were our interiors courses that we're offering. Those are all, related to interior design, interior architecture. The other vertical that we have is product design. Within product design, we offer these two courses, one which has been going already, which is also called product design, and the other is lifestyle accessory design, which I'll talk about in a few seconds. Product design is a course in which I don't know how best to explain it except to say that you're designing products. Well, what is a product? I guess anything is a product. Anything could be a product. Your phone can be a product. Your water bottle can be a product. The laptop can be a product. Furniture can be a product. All of these things can be products. But we've generally narrowed it down to the things that you see listed on the screen here: industrial design, furniture, electronics, technology embedded products. So maybe, for example, an appliance that has technology embedded within it, smart products. That's also there. Retail products are also part of it. So in general, the product design courses tend to be more, the product design products tend to be more mass-produced, but not necessarily. They tend to be more industrial, but again, not necessarily. There could be some custom-made products that are there also. That's generally what we offer in product design. The new course, Lifestyle Accessory Design, that we're offering, that's a degree course. In some ways, that's very similar to the product design course. A lot of the things are similar. They are products, but they're more lifestyle products. In some way, you can say that they're kind of soft products, soft furnishing, soft products. So what is included in that? Accessories. Accessories, they're both wearable accessories like jewelry and also non-wearable accessories. So home furnishings, home housewares, gifts, the things that you find on your kitchen table, maybe the things that you're in your kitchen utensils. These are the kind of things that we would say are lifestyle accessories, things that have to deal with the kind of way that we live every day. Maybe a little bit less technical and more, you could say, a little bit softer. When I say home furnishings, I mean not furniture. I mean textiles, fabrics, upholsteries, curtains, draperies, bed linens, tablecloths. Those are the type of things that we're talking about. There's a lot of textile aspects of the course that are going to be there. But not just textile, not just fabrics, but also, hard products as well. So things that sit on your table, those things can be there. I want to talk a little bit about what kind of careers. I'm sure you're very interested in what kind of careers you would be having if you were to be getting into any of these courses. It's a little bit different for some of the different courses that we have. For interiors, the type of careers that you can expect to be getting into are probably not big companies. They tend to be more smaller design firms, boutique firms, where you get to really get involved in the design, the everyday aspect of making and designing things. But yeah, there are some options of working in larger companies, but for the most part, you're working in small firms. Product design is somewhat a little bit the same. Product design, you are probably have more of an opportunity to work for a bigger firm. Some of our graduates are working at places like Whirlpool or Godrej, or places that are designing big things, like electronics and appliances and that sort of thing. Accessory design may also be somewhat that way, but mostly, these are the kind of things that you would be thinking. You would be getting a salary job at a design firm or an architecture firm. You can do freelance work, you can do consulting work, you can be an entrepreneur, have your own practice. Very many of our graduates have their own practice very soon after graduation. Some, even within a few months after graduation, they decide to open up their own design practice if they feel that they have enough experience to do that. But yeah, a lot of our graduates get into freelance and entrepreneurship. As I said, for product design, a lot of the graduates would work for people like like these larger national and multinational industries. You can be the in-house designer at a large company, so a hotel chain, a restaurant chain, maybe like apartments, so like these big developer companies, builders like DLF or Raheja, you could be potentially be the in-house designer for them. That means that you're not only designing for them, but you're hiring other designers. You're setting the design standards for that firm. So for example, a Hilton will have an in-house designer because there's a certain kind of design quality that all Hilton hotels should be following. So that in-house designer will be making sure that all the Hilton hotels have that same standard of quality. As I said before, you can become a set designer, you can become an exhibition designer, you can become a stylist, as I was saying before. You can even decide to get into academics and research, like what I'm doing right now. This is what I've done. I've been a designer for many years, and now I'm into teaching and research. So even that option is open to you. So lots of different careers available, more so probably than in other courses that you might want to be choosing. I want to end with this one last slide, which is about the ideal design student at Pearl Academy. So, and I want you to understand what it is that we're what we expect from the student who's here at Pearl, because it is a very different environment. You may think that, oh, do I have the skills? Do I, I don't know how to draw. Should I take this course? Well, we'll teach you how to draw. What we rather is that you have the desire to learn how to draw. So we say we prefer desire more than skills. Substance more than style, exploring more than drawing. We'll teach you how to draw, but we want you to draw not for just the sake of, being a good illustrator, but also because we want you to draw to learn how to explore things. Researching rather than studying. Fulfillment more than achievement. Like achievement, very much we want to get somewhere, we want to do some things, but fulfillment is something that we feel is more important. Very much our students feel that, oh, I'm not getting enough knowledge, I want knowledge. Everybody has a thirst for knowledge, which is a great thing, and we provide knowledge. But we want to provide competence more than knowledge. Competence means that your ability to continue learning and continue getting more knowledge. That's the kind of attitude that we want to have. And more than anything, we want to train you that, our students at Pearl Academy, they learn to learn. They don't learn to know things. They learn to continue learning. That's the kind of attitude that we want to have here. I think that kind of wraps it up. I feel I've explained kind of where we're going, what our vision is at the School of Design, and what kind of students we want, what kind of graduates we want. And I hope that you share some of that. The fact that you're here taking part in this shows that you have some interest in this. And I would hope that some of this inspires you and makes you want to, think about, being part of our family here at Pearl Academy. I'm going to go back to Varsha and ask her to open up the question and answers if you have any. So, and thank you very much for listening to me and being part of this.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nidhip, for that wonderful session, and especially to bring out all the differences between the courses that we have. Jumping to the question answer round now, we have questions coming in from Asila. She asked, comparatively, design education is more expensive in India. Why is that so?
That's a good question, actually. It's a very good question. If you saw from some of our slides, design education is not about filling up, 300-400 people in a lecture hall, giving them a textbook and having them show up for an exam. It requires a lot of hands-on learning, day to day, every day in the studio. You're sitting face to face with your faculty. Very often, it's one-to-one conversations you're having with them. You're talking to them. They're helping you, bring your design forward. And yeah, I mean, that takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of time. We have smaller classrooms. We have more teachers. We have more facilities. We have workshops. We have all those type of things that maybe traditional design education doesn't have. But very good question. That's a very insightful question.
Right. And she's also asking, what are the new specializations in this field, in design field per se?
Well, that's also a very good question, actually. I would say that design right now is moving in two directions. It's moving both in specialization and diversification, but it's also moving towards a kind of a universal design aspect, which means that many designers do lots of different things. You'll find architects who are doing graphic design. You are doing architects who do product design. So you can do many different things, and a design education trains you to do that. But specialization, I think I mentioned some of the niche markets. You do have designers who are doing very niche things. So furniture design, for example. That's something that is a niche market. We're looking at that, and many of our students are doing furniture design. Within the product design aspect, there's lots of different things. There's appliance design, there's housewares, there's electronics and gadgets. There's lots of different things that you can do in terms of specialization.
Great. And Maitri is asking, what can you advise to set up a new designer label?
A designer label, that's a very interesting thing, because this is something that apart from fashion design, fashion designers have been doing labels for many years. We always associate labels with fashion designers. But the like product designers and architects and interiors, you don't see them having labels so much. But now you're starting to see that. You see these companies, like I think I showed some of their products, Sahil and Sarthak and Orange Tree, you see them starting to have labels. And what they're doing is that they have a kind of a design aesthetic. The thing that governs all of the things that they're producing, the things that they're making and designing, is that they all fall into a kind of a certain look or a certain feel or a certain kind of a characteristic that they have. And so when that becomes very common, they end up having a kind of a commonality in all the products that they offer. So Sahil and Sarthak offers furniture. They offer housewares, but they all have a certain kind of a look and feel. The colors that they use are similar to each other, and so you go to that label. You buy almost everything from that one design house. So that's the kind of trend that you're seeing these days.
Great. And next up is Akshata. She's asking, is there any special skills required, maybe for the entrance exam, to be part of Pearl Academy for interior design courses?
Wow, these are really, really good questions. And these are things that I wish that I would put part of my presentation, and maybe next time I'll put them in my presentation next time, because this is a very good question. So many students come to us, many candidates come to us asking whether they should take coaching classes or they should take preparation for this. My attitude is very simple. I would rather you just learn as much as you can about the careers or the different careers that you're interested in, find out about them, find out some names of good designers, see about what do they do, how do they work, look at what's being done in design in that field, both in India, abroad. Just get a knowledge. Many students, when I sit for interviews and admissions, they ask me questions like, well, I ask them, why are you choosing this course? And they say, well, I'm passionate about this course. Well, I would like to see the evidence of that passion. You can't just say that I always wanted to become an interior designer. Well, what is the reason? Did you ever do any interior design? Have you ever tried to rearrange your room? Have you ever tried to, make anything, make any kind of fabrics or anything like that? We want to show that you've gone above and beyond what maybe that your coursework has asked you to do, your work that you're doing for school or for your exams. We would like you to do those things. Coaching classes, they certainly can help you learn how to draw a little bit. My issue with coaching classes sometimes is that they tend to be a kind of a formula that if you they teach you how that person knows how to draw. Rather, we would like you to explore yourself and learn how to draw on your own. There's lots of books, there's lots of YouTube videos out there that you can learn how to draw. We'd rather you kind of figure it and learn how to do it yourself. When I sit with students who've gone to coaching classes, many of their drawings are exactly the same, and we don't want to have all of our students be exactly the same. We want them to be very different from each other. We want them to have their own personality come through. So that's why I tend to discourage. If you had a choice between taking coaching classes and doing your own independent preparation, I would almost always say that you do your own independent preparation. But the best thing is just learn about these courses, find out everything you can. You guys have resources at your fingertips, which we didn't have when we were growing up. We can, you can find out about any designer within 2 seconds. You can find out about the work that they've done. Find out about how they grew as a designer. How are they different? What innovation that they did. It's so easy to find out. So do that, and then that'll help you. One other thing I probably would say is that because a lot of our courses are software heavy, it is good that if you wanted to learn a skill before you came into our college, it would be good. If you wanted to learn it on your own, is learn a kind of software. There are lots of different softwares. Learn Photoshop, learn Illustrator, learn AutoCAD, learn InDesign. These are all the softwares that you use. If you learn that now, then there's less that we have to teach you once you join.
But just to come back to that, is that a requirement that they need to have at the entrance exam?
Absolutely not. None of these things are requirements. Well, we don't require anything like that. These are just things that we like to see in general, but we also understand that not everybody has the availability to do these things. Not everybody can buy software. Not everybody can go take a coaching class. Not everybody can learn these things. So these are absolutely not requirements. If you can come to Pearl Academy, I can very easily, see whether someone is going to be a kind of a good thinker, a good designer, even without all these things. But I'm just saying that it kind of can help you a little bit. That's all.
Okay. And there's one last question by Maitri again. She asked, what is the interview process that we will go about?
The interview process. Well, I'm not in the admissions office. I would defer this question to someone in the. What you can do is that you can talk to one of our counselors who are there. The phone numbers are there on our website. They can give you very specifically what the interview process is, but very roughly what it is that we have. We have an entrance exam. We have 2 entrance exams that are held on the same day. That happens all across the country at different centers. And the first exam is more of a general aptitude type of exam, like just your general knowledge. About certain things like reading and comprehension and that sort of thing. And the second exam that we require is also a design aptitude test where we just see whether what kind of aptitude you have for designing things, maybe a little bit of drawing. And then after that, we have interviews, either the same day or the week after that. You have interviews where you come in and you meet with the actual faculty who are going to be teaching you. And then you basically wait for the results. But if you want more information about that, I would strongly recommend that you call up our hotline and you talk to one of our counselors.
Great. And do they need to prepare something specific for the entrance exam?
No, no. I mean, look, you don't have to do anything. If you have anything, if you have drawn anything, if you have made anything, if you have a portfolio, then please, by all means, bring it in. You can certainly bring all that stuff, but you don't have to make anything specific for that. No.
Okay, great. So those are the all the questions that I see rolling in. I hope Nidhip has been able to answer all of the queries here. In case there are any more questions, I request you to please call the toll-free number which is mentioned on the screen. I can repeat that for you. It is 1-800-103-3005. Or you can also visit the website for any further information. We'll keep you updated with the further lineup of webinars that we have. But we really hope you've enjoyed the session with Nidhip today. Thanks a lot, Nidhip, for the session.
Thank you, Varsha. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to meeting you guys and seeing you guys in the future. And good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.